Hello, everybody. It is Jen again. Do y'all remember me? I'm that girl that quit making videos on here a couple years ago. If y'all remember. I'm in my car. I do have a new windshield mount because my last one snapped in half, because I would not be exaggerating when I tell y'all I've tried to film this comeback video like 25 times. And I film it and I delete it. And we'll see if this one makes the cut. I don't know, y'all. I hope everybody is doing good. I know it's been a rough 2 years, I think, for everybody. And if you're not doing good, I hope you're on the way there. You know, everything's a season, and I hope your next season's a good one. I'm actually on my way home from the specialist this morning, which, before I get into catching up everything, funny story. If this is not the sign of the times, I don't know what is. So I finally get in. I've never been to a dermatologist before. I finally get into a dermatologist appointment because I have this place on my back that needs looked at and possibly removed and all this other stuff. And my doctor referred me to a dermatologist. Well, I go in there, and they have those questionnaires on the table. Do you have a temperature? Have you been exposed to anybody in the last 14 days, etc., and so forth. And then you have to put yes or no to all these symptoms. And a couple of them were like headache, and I was like, oh, I have a mild headache. Runny nose, yeah, I got a little bit of runny nose. I did have to get 2 inches of daggone snow off my car this morning, so yeah, my nose is running. It snowed in Tennessee. It snowed twice. Oh my gosh, I have to tell y'all that story too. I got stuck. We'll get back to that story. And I hate snow. I hate it. I'm a Southern girl through and through. I hate it. Like, if it gets below 65 degrees, these conditions are not acceptable. Where is management? I'm a weather Karen. I do not want it. But anyway, so I go in there, and they say if you answer yes to any of these things, they can't see you. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go up to the desk. Because, I did just have a negative test last week. I'd have allergies. I got snow off my car this morning, so of course I'm going to be a little sniffly. I'm a little congested, etc., and so forth. Our weather's been slapping back and forth between spring and the Arctic, so of course. So I was like, I just want to make sure, And then what sealed the deal was, while I was waiting, I sneezed, which I sneeze anyway, because again, my nose is a little sniffly. And yeah, they wouldn't see me, so I had to reschedule. So that was a pain. I ain't gonna give nobody crap over it, though. I'm telling you, like, I'm an essential worker, and the amount of bull crap that I've had to put up with, with the public and other things the last 2 years, I cannot even imagine to the extent that applies to healthcare, because I'm not even in healthcare. I'm in the financial industry. I can't imagine. So I ain't going to give them one bit of crap. If they need to reschedule me, they will. But it's kind of thrown my day a little off, but that's okay. I just thought that was crazy. I'm just like, worrying it, aren't we? Worrying it. It's real bad in my area right now. Even though I did do negative, who knows if I had it or not. I don't know. It's wild. But yeah, that's a sign of the times. And before I catch y'all up, let me tell you my snow story. So we're at work, and I do have a different job now. I'll get y'all caught up on that. I love my job that I have right now. I've been there, started August 23rd, and today is January 18th. So almost September, October, November, December, January, almost 5 months I've been there, and it's great. What was I saying? Oh, and we were at work, and our headquarters is actually in Middle Tennessee. I'm in East Tennessee. So usually weather's coming one way or the other, and snow was coming, and usually they talk about snow in East Tennessee, and we just get a dusting, and nobody cares, But it started snowing buckets, okay? And where I live, I drive a little sedan that's over 10 years old, that's made out of styrofoam. And where I live, once you get off the main road, you're screwed. But I was like, I'm gonna try to get it home, and they let us go early, sent us home with like laptops so we could work from home. And I made it. I made up to about 3 blocks from my house, and I go to pull up to go up. You know, I did okay. I was on the main road, and I go to pull up, and it didn't go. I've never experienced that in my life. Again, I'm a Southern girl. We don't snow like y'all from up north are probably like, buddy, that's all you had to do. Me, I'm freaking out. I'm calling my dad like I'm a little kid, and I'm like, Dad, I'm stuck. And he had to come out, and luckily it was close enough to the house. He was able to come out and help me, because my car would not go, and when I tried to go, it started like spinning in a circle, like going to the side. So he had to come out, and then we had to push the car off to the side of the road, because I'm sitting right in the middle. I wasn't on the main road, but I was right in the middle of an intersection of two back roads. So I'm like, great, someone's going to come over this hill, and they're just going to slide right into me and kill me and done, and, you know, the whole bit. And so I went, it's crazy. So, yeah, my car stayed there for like 3 or 4 days, to where we finally got to the point where the roads were okay enough to move my car, because they don't treat the back roads here. They do treat the main roads, but ain't nobody care about my little podunk road. So that was interesting. I do not wish to repeat. And then here I am carrying this banker's box style file box, you know what I mean, like that size, with like all my work binders, all my paperwork, all these reports to work on, all this, you know, the laptop, all this stuff. And I'm thinking, Lord, do not drop this laptop. And I have my lunch box. I mean, I move in when I go to work every day. I used to joke, the last place I worked, I was one of the oldest people in the department, and they would, one of them let me in. They're like, we can always tell when someone's over 30. And I said, how? They're like, because they come in and they don't just have a purse, like, you know, like the 20-year-olds, most of them, they just have like this little bitty cute purse, or, you know, the guys just have like a, you know, a bottle of Coke or water and nothing. And then all of us, you know, men and women that work there, if we were over 30, buddy, we got like a tote bag with snacks. We got notebooks. Like, we got all our creature comforts with us every day, right? So I have my giant water bottle. You know, this thing's a half-galloner. My lunch box, like I got it all with me today too. And I'm in these, you know, smooth bottom, like banker's shoes, trying to go up snowy hills with like a box with laptops. And I mean, it was probably the funniest thing. I bet my neighbors just got really entertained with that. I was like, this is it. This is my stress for the year. I'm done. No more. And here we are like a week later, and it snowed again, which luckily it snowed, and it was like a 3-day weekend. So there's still snow everywhere. So y'all, when I start on the road, y'all might see just big giant snow clods just coming off the car, because I'll literally, let me show you. If y'all have like a little tool y'all can tell me about, y'all northern people, that you use to get snow off your car, because I've learned you can scrape your glass and stuff, but once you get on the road, like, I don't know if it's the way my car is shaped or whatever, but the snow will actually like fly up and smack on the windshield. But I use a squeegee to knock the snow off the part with paint. So even though my paint job's all jacked up because my car's so old, but anyway, I was supposed to be catching up with y'all, but I had to tell you my snow story. Like, it is rough. It, like, this area does not get prepared for snow. So we get an inch or two of snow, stuff shut down. I mean, it's just not something. But yeah, I'm actually in Wendy's parking lot because I wanted to stop and get me a coffee with 2 little half and halves, because I'm on my way home from the specialist. I'm working from home the rest of the day. I've been pretty sick this weekend, and so I'm going to be working from home the rest of the day and then going back into the office tomorrow, which I have never worked anywhere where they've given me that option, and it's wonderful. Wonderful, because the disease that shall not be named is making its way through our office. So it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, let me get pulled out, and then I'll be back with y'all, and I'll actually do some catching up and going on. How about that? How about that? How about the purpose of this video? You know, we're just going with it. Apparently everybody in the parking lot gets the same idea that I get. They just sitting there enjoying their coffee and sitting in the parking lot. What are you doing, bud? Okay, you're just gonna go and not wait on me. That's fine. That's fine. I knew you had that look about you. I profile people sometimes in their vehicles because I can look at them and I can tell if they're going to be that person that's going to wait and let me like pull out or not. So I got your number, buddy. But anyways, let me try to think. I know I'm going to miss stuff, catching y'all up on stuff, because it's been a lot. It's been a lot. But that's one reason I keep refilming this, and I just have to accept the fact that I ain't going to remember everything, okay? I just need to go with it. I need to follow my own daggone advice and go with it. So I guess the first thing, probably most obvious, I have lost some weight. I think my grand total last year of weight I lost was 90-ish pounds. I don't weigh myself very often, so yeah, that's about where I was at last time I weighed in at the doctor's. So we'll go with that. Yeah, that whole thing came about January 2021, so almost a year ago from when I'm filming this. I was having all these crazy symptoms, and of course I thought it was the thing, you know, got the Rona, and I was under so much stress, like, oh my gosh, when I say my last job almost killed me, I'm not exaggerating. It was crazy, which I don't even think I told y'all about the position I had, a whole nother thing. We'll get into that. Catch you up on health stuff first. So, gosh, sorry, I got my heat on like high so it'll melt the snow, and I'm about to boil myself because I have on 2 sweaters and a jacket. But I was feeling terrible. I had been feeling terrible for a long time. I just assumed it was stress because the conditions that we were under were insane. Like, I think back now and I'm just like, who let that go on so long? But anyway, whole nother story, whole nother day. And so I just thought it was stress. I know I had put on a little bit of weight. Again, stress. And I'll blame it on that. Not lifelong obesity, just stress. And there was one morning I was heading into work, and I have never felt like this in my life. It terrifies me to even think of it to this day. But I was having pains all up my left side, all up through my jaw. It felt like someone, the only way I know to describe it, it was like the tops of my forearms and stuff were like swollen, and there was just like a balloon of fluid there. My heart was racing. I was so confused. My vision was going in and out, and I just pulled over to the side of the road, and I called my boss at the time, and I was like, I'm not coming in today. I'm not feeling well. I'm going to lay down, and if I'm still not feeling good tomorrow, I'm going to go get a test, a rapid test. So I went. I didn't feel much better the next day, so I went, got my test. My test was negative, but when I went in, my blood pressure was through the roof. The first time they took it, it was like 200 over 110. And now to think about it, that is just terrifying. At the time, I didn't know what that meant. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm ignorant as all get out about medical stuff. I'm slowly learning. I'm still incredibly ignorant, but at that time, I don't know what a blood sugar level is. I don't know what a blood pressure level is. You know, I've not, to this point, really had to worry about it, if that makes sense. I've had like a couple instances here and there when I got really stressed. But I didn't know what that means, so now I'm terrified. You know, and the nurse gets that look on her face at the urgent care where I'm getting the test, like, you know. And I thought, oh boy. So she said, you know, go to your happy place. I'll come back in about 5-10 minutes and we'll do it again. And I think it was still reading like a 190 over 100 or something, which is just terrifying. So yeah, my blood pressure was crazy. They weighed me, and I had gained about 30 pounds in the last year. So that was wonderful. So they told me, you know, they gave me something to get my blood pressure down temporarily, and they said you need to get an appointment with your primary care physician. It had been about a year and a half since I had gone to my primary care because, you know, I don't like going to the doctor anyway. I hate it. I mean, who likes it, right? Only when you're trying to get answers and you're like, please be something normal that they can just, so I ended up getting an appointment, I think a week or two after that with my primary care. I tried to use the whole, pandemic as an excuse. I'm not going to the doctor, but, and of course I tried to be like the best little patient ever that 2 weeks leading up to it, and cut out all salt, cut out all caffeine, did everything, and I go in, my blood pressure was still reading high. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was still really high. And they ran all these blood panels and stuff, and about a week and a half later I get the call that I still remember. It floored me because I had never had issues with this in my entire life, and my A1C was like a 7.4, 7.8, which put me in the diabetic range, and then my bad cholesterol was high. So, and I have since been told that is the ABCs of diabetes. So, high A1C, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So I'm like, great. Something that just floored me because I'm not a sweets person. It still floors me to this day, and how I was brought up and everything. There's this whole shame factor and all this other stuff, which I may get into in future videos. But I found out, I'm an insulin resistant diabetic, which is still weird to even say it now. So I went from no medications to being put on a blood pressure pill and metformin, which I'm still on, but I'm in a very low dose now. So I'm not been able to get completely off of it, but I'm like at half the doses of everything from where I started. So great. And of course I go on there, and me being the nerd burger that I am, I go on there and I start researching all the things and start figuring out what type of diet I should eat and all of that stuff. So, and the rest is history. I'm still figuring it out. I'm about 90 pounds down. I don't know how low I can get, but I definitely at least have about 50 or 60 more to get down. And these pounds are meaner. They do not want to move. So, but I just had to completely change what I ate. And I will tell you, most of the weight came off pure eating. Like, I have done very minimal exercise, and when I do exercise, it's usually like mild walking. So because I have to be very cautious of my blood pressure and things, which I was at the doctor a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, when I got referred to this dermatologist, and my blood pressure was 120/80. So we're getting there, people. We're getting there. But yeah, so that's been a big thing I've been dealing with. It's just, yeah. That's something I would like to talk a little bit about in future videos, because I am somebody who has been obese my entire life. Obese or overweight, 36 years. And there's the whole mental gymnastics of that, and just these weird mental things that I think only other long-term obese people would understand. Just the mental stuff of it, and just being on this whole thing, learning to, hold on, these people have their blinkers on. Just learning to, they got their hazards on. Sorry, I wanted to make sure nothing was going on. I think they're just riding on a donut. But just these whole mental things that people don't understand. Like when you start losing a big amount of weight, like you start feeling unsafe and all these other things. That's just something, I don't know, I may get into in future videos. I don't know if I want to get that deep. I'm still working out some things myself. I would like to talk about, I hate people that look at obese people, morbidly obese people, and are like, just move more and eat less. Well, shoot, buddy. Really? I ain't thought of that. It's like telling someone who has chronic or clinical depression, well, just choose happy, buddy. Just wake up in the morning and choose happy. Oh my gosh, I could set every sign that says choose happy or choose joy on fire. I really could. Like, I understand. I think most people who have these things are not coming from a bad place. But when you're somebody that has depression or anxiety and people are like, you are in control of how you think. Yeah, I want to be miserable, fat, and depressed all the time. That is what I choose. Buddy. Whole nother story, whole nother day. What else do I want to catch y'all up on? Let's talk about my professional update. I want to move this along because I'm getting to the house here in a bit and I have to pee, so I don't know how long I'll be able to talk in the driveway. Straight up, y'all. I ain't even took a sip of my coffee either. I'm letting that thing cool. I understand why you'd see people, like when I was little, they put an ice cube or two in their coffee, and I'm like, I understand. But anyway, so professional. So when I left y'all, I was in a job. I think I'd been there about 6 months at that point. I had left the job environment from hell, and I went to this other company. It was a great opportunity. I went there, and then I was having my night classes that I had to actually be on campus for, and I had this little nugget of time in between when I got out of work. And when my classes started, I was filming these videos. I was going to do all these videos. I found my notes I made for those videos the other day, and I'm like, wow, this feels like a whole nother world. But what was I going to say? So I was in that position, and then 2020 happened. Things were crazy. There was a position that opened up that paid better at the same company, and it was next door at the headquarters, and it paid better, and I was still working with the public, but it was in a distance way. So instead of like you coming into the building and my big head is what you see and all that, you would press a button on a machine and my big head would pop up on the machine and help you. So I went with that. The schedule that was told to me was much better. I'd be working less weekends, because I went from working no weekends at Job Environment from Hell to working 2 to 3 weekends a month at this new job, which I was not about. Like, you work, my industry, you work very long hours during the week so that you get your weekends, because if you don't have 2 days off in a row, I feel like you don't get rest. I don't know. It's weird for me coming from food and retail so many years, because like I remember the first time I had a weekend off, I was like, because I had never had one before. You don't get those in those industries. But anyway, and then so I moved over to this other department. Was a much better schedule. It was like a rotating schedule, and at first it was great. Absolutely great, and then it just got to the point like everything locked down, and our department became the only mode that customers could use to do certain business functions, and people were quitting and getting let go left and right. I think we were supposed to have like 26 or 28 in our department, and there was a time where we had 6, if that tells you anything. And we would have a queue where, like I said, people would touch a machine and we'd come on there, and if everybody had someone, you would get put in a queue, and we had this little screen on the board. And when I first came there, most we'd have in the queue is 5 people. So as soon as somebody finishes up and they get off the call, or whatever you want to call it, the session, the next person in the queue would pop up for them, if that makes sense. It was like a hybrid call center frontline branch experience type of thing. I don't know how to explain it. But we got to the point where we were having 25 and 30 people in a queue, so it never let up. It was getting very difficult to be able to get time off for some people. I don't know. I don't want to go into it because I learned a lot there. I met some incredible people. but it was just not working for me. And the stress, like in the schedule that was told to me, like in my interview, did not end up being the schedule at all, which I understand they were in like a pandemic emergency schedule. But even when things settled down again, they never moved it back. And it was just too much for me. Like I said, it sent my blood pressure through the roof. I'm convinced I was seconds from having a heart attack or stroke that day. By, the grace of God, I did not have one. I mean, it was just a miracle, honestly, now that I think back. Somehow I did not have one. Somebody was looking out for me somewhere, and so it just got to the point, I learned from my last job, because I stayed at it way too long in an environment that was just incredibly toxic. Although I will say, for that job, as many problems as I had with it, I learned so much, because literally you just got thrown in the fire and you either got consumed or you walked out burnt as a crisp but still walking. So that job I learned so much at that job, which I use in my job now. So you just take good things, but I learned you need to squirrel away some screw you money. Who said that I think it was an interview with Lucy Liu years ago. She talked about how her father or grandfather or something taught her that she needs to have, screw you money, although she didn't say screw, saved up, so that when you get into a situation where an opportunity is not working for you, you don't have to take it. You can just say screw you, and you got money in your savings. So I just, squirreled away money, worst case scenario, because I'm like, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And it never really got better. I should have known, and this is no dig to younger workers out there, my younger millennials and my Gen Zs, but I should have known, because up until the last month I was there, I was one of the oldest people in the department, and the only couple people that were my age or older were in management positions. And I feel like when you have younger employees, businesses try to get away with a lot more. That's just me. That could just be my observation. I'm not saying they did or they didn't. That's just been my take on stuff, because when you're younger, and this is maybe, in your first, second, third job, you put up with a lot more because you don't know. Because Lord knows I've put up with a lot more. And that's another thing I'm thankful for, my second to last job that I left that was really toxic. I learned a lot. I mean, it made me tough, honey. It made me tough professionally. I will give it that. You come out a different person, but and I just saw things, and since I started working at this one place, there was just little things that kind of gnawed at my mind, but I was like, it just is. And I guess it eventually, about July, I started looking, and jobs were starting to put on listings and stuff again. And I just put some feelers out. I started, crisping up my resume and all this stuff, and I saw there were all these jobs being posted, and it just kind of came to a head, because I finally had asked for a couple days off, because I'm gonna tell you what, I mean, I couldn't hardly take days off. It was on a PTO accrual system at this place, and when I left, I got a nice paycheck because I had so much PTO accumulated. And I was not an employee, you accumulate at different rates, and where I had been there less than 5 years, I accumulated at the lowest rate. So even accumulating at the lowest rate, I had 2.5, 3 weeks just sitting there, because I never got to take any of them. And I finally had got 2 days off, and I kept telling my supervisor, I'm like, look, I am burning out. I'm stressed. My blood pressure's through the roof. We don't ever get a break. They, without notice, they halved our lunches. They, it was one of those things, you never knew what time you were going to lunch when you came in. It was almost ran like a retail store. It was very strange. Like, you would come in and there would be a lunch schedule. So you couldn't really make any plans with friends or anything, which if you were there, they did not allow you. Like, they were so strict with COVID stuff, they did not allow you to even sit at a table with someone and have a lunch or anything, which I get it, but it's kind of weird. And they were so, like, it was so isolating during that time too. But they would pile us all in the same bathroom. But you couldn't use the same bathroom as management, though. They had their own bathroom. And management could use the break room. We couldn't use the break room. So if you didn't drive your car to work, you're just SOL, buddy. Because you'd have to sit out in your car. Whole nother story, whole nother day. I just remember things. But I had finally asked for a couple days off, and they were supposed to come up in July. And then I had a doctor's appointment that I had scheduled because I was still having to go at least once a month, once every other month, where I was, high blood pressure and all that. And I told them about it. I had on the schedule for like 3 months because I'm like, I'm going to this doctor's appointment, and these are 2 days off because I'm burning out. And that my supervisor's like, find a couple days, we'll approve them. Da 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 da. Well, then I found out that I was a trainer, which was fine. I've been a trainer at my last 2 jobs. I enjoy it. That was my favorite part of that whole job, was training. But I told them, I have a doctor's appointment, and then I have these 2 days off. So you need to find someone else to train this particular individual. And they're like, oh, we got it. And they never did. And they were just expecting me to still come in and train and do all this stuff. And, after looking at job listings and things and seeing all these jobs that were out there, and then I had enough savings, I figured that worst case scenario, if I couldn't find a job and I was having to pay COBRA insurance or anything like that, then worst case, I was still good for like 6 or 8 months. So at the same expenditure as I was doing now, that's not even like going real penny pinching. And so I put in my 2 weeks. I got an interview with a place closer to where I live. And that actually ended up falling through. And the place that I work now is about a block away from that place. Funny enough. And it's in the same industry that I was in, the financial banking industry, but now I work in like a back office capacity. And it's only about a 15 to 20 minute drive from my house. No interstate, all back roads. It's wonderful. And I've been loving it so far. I've been there about 5 or 6 months. It was really like serendipitous. Like, I just happened to go online. I saw it listed. And I was like, I don't know about this. And I put my application in, got the interview, got offered the job the same day I had the interview. And yeah, the rest is history. It's been great. It's a really good bunch. I get that combination of the first place I worked at that I enjoyed, which was like the smaller, almost family-like work atmosphere. And then the second place, well, they were very corporate. I did not enjoy the corporateness, but they're very up on technology like them. So I get this, I have the opportunity to be able to work in this type of position, which is very rare in my area because, most of the time they have their headquartery type positions in big cities. And that was one reason I had gone to my last company, because they were headquartered in my county. And these people, they have like their back office, a big portion of it here. And it has been great. My manager's awesome. They're letting me work from home for the rest of the day. The group is great. I've been sick this past weekend, and they're just like, work from home, but if you don't feel well, please rest. And I'm just like, what? Like, you treat me like a human. I put in for doctor's appointments, and they're like, whenever you need them, it's fine. Go for it. Like, I know when I'm going to lunch every day. Like, I'm treated like an adult human being, which is just very weird to me. Like, I've never had a job where I'm treated like a person. Like, I know that's really crazy to say, but it's good. So that is all going really good professionally. Personal development real quick, because I'm gonna be honest, I really have to pee. So let me just think of personal things. Well, I have a new cat. Ollie. If you've watched my art videos on Art Therapy with Jen, he's the fluffy orange one. Very curious little critter. Fluff and Jasper passed away. I think it was 2019, I think. And brought Eddie in. And I was good with the 3 cats. I had Kitten, I had Eddie, and I had Augie. I was good with that. Had 3 cats for almost a year. And then this little thing, he came up on the front porch. This orange, scraggly looking, scrawny old thing. Looked all beat up and hungry. He come up there and he jumped up on the little pillar ledge thing and put his little flea-ridden paws on my shoulder and rubbed my face. I was like, oh no. I was like, if he keeps coming back, maybe it's meant to be. Well, he kept coming back, so I brought him in, and the rest is history. So I have 4 cats now. They're doing good. Eddie and Kitten have been having some health problems. Eddie has like a benign tumor or cyst or something on his thyroid, but we've gotten him on medication, so he's on the mend. He's going back to the vet this weekend. Kitten has messed up her back leg pretty bad, but it's been a few weeks and she's slowly able to kind of walk again, so we're doing good there. My dad is doing good. We did finish our kitchen, all but the floor. That's kind of on hold right now. We finished our dining room and our living room, although it's junked up and I need to clean it. We got air conditioning, central air. I do not want to ever live my life without central air again. It's the first time, so that is great. Now all I need is to live somewhere with 2 bathrooms, and I am made for the rest of my life. Like I said, I know I'm forgetting a ton of stuff. There's just so much has happened in the last 2 years. I will just catch y'all up as things go along. How about that? But I thank y'all for listening at me and going on. If you're still interested in these type of videos, let me know. I can't guarantee how often they'll be posted, but I just think just doing just the casual car vlogs, my schedule doesn't allow me to do anything else really, but just doing some casual car vlogs, checking up with y'all, just reaching out, because I know times now are really isolating and everything, and just as a connection and just to say hey and give some thoughts and perspectives on things that I probably have no business doing. If you want to see my more like creative pursuits, you can check out my art channel, Art Therapy with Jen with the Cats. I've just changed it. Art Therapy with Jen with the Cats. So yeah, I hope everyone is well. Like I said, are on the way there. I'm gonna go in the house and get to it and go pee and drink my coffee and get to work, get on my work laptop and get some business took care of. Again, thank y'all so much for sticking in with me here, and I don't know, maybe I don't want to commit to anything. I like to do one of these like once a month or so, or just however, and yeah, thank y'all so much, and I will see y'all hopefully soon with another shaky car vlog. Bye guys.